What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is January the 29th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before I get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So the market is pulling back right now because of this data point. I don't think anyone anticipated it to come out as negative as it did, but here we are. So the trade balance, negative 122.11 billion. Forecast was 106. So definitely very, very far off. As far as this, it is prompting a pullback, as you can kind of see right there. Nothing overly crazy, but still enough to really kill the momentum right quick. And I think in general, just the market was somewhat jittery prior to this data because of what's coming out later today. So Powell, interest rate decision, it is fair to assume that there won't be any kind of cut or anything today, but what it said afterwards, where they kind of allude to hikes, cuts, stays neutral, talks on the data points. I know his kind of favorite thing is the labor market, and that data hasn't been good all whatsoever. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very volatile time today. So just be prepared for that. As far as the futures, NASDAQ is down 0.04, S&P down 0.19, and then Dow is down 0.08. So like I said, nothing crazy, but it did definitely kill the momentum, that data point. This is still broken, so no point in even bringing that up. Sofi is pulling back slightly, down 1.42%. No actual news associated to them to really justify that. Rather, I think it's just profit taking, maybe because it did go up fairly well yesterday, like in comparison to a lot of other stocks yesterday. So yeah, I think it just kind of overextended itself a little bit, even though at the same time, once the market does open, it could definitely recover because it just had a new $20 buy rating from Dan. So Dan, who has a 56% success rating, so 220s came in since their earnings, 118. So yeah, honestly, that's pretty good stuff if you ask me. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Shorts though, they didn't really do all that much yesterday, and I think they haven't been doing all that much, but with what Powell states today, they could definitely start to pounce. 12.45% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 134.02 million shares overall are being shorted. And just generally looking at this from like a chart standpoint, they are starting to increase a little bit more coming from the bottom, roughly of like 11.66%. So they could be starting to wake up, so just be aware of that. But with it at $15.93, still trading between these 2 points, is R1 and the pivot. 15.72 will be the next strong support, 16.72 will be the next strong target / resistance. So in my opinion, I think that this pre-market is somewhat overdone, and this 15.72 will hold if potentially tested, but then again, that's just me. Moving on, Nvidia is down. Same goes for Sofi. It did do fairly well yesterday, kind of overextended itself, so I think there's just a certain level of pullback from that. Plus, I believe there's that new AI from Alibaba. I think it's Quinn, if I'm saying that right, and I think that, as well as prompting some fear because it's similar to DeepSeek, is more efficient than ChatGPT, uses less chips as well. So I think that seems to be the thing now. It's just now the market overnight turned to a tech race. So kind of crazy stuff. That's why that is down. Not a squeeze stock whatsoever. So 1.18% of the free float's being shorted. Shorts, on the other hand, though, have been increasing, not to a like squeeze standard, but it's kind of interesting to see what they have been doing. So again, just monitor that. With it at 126 and change, still trading between this S1 and this S2. So 123 will be a strong support, and 128 will be the next strong target / resistance point. So in my opinion, I think Nvidia is going to get bought up and potentially touch this S1, but again, I could be wrong. No matter what though, very wide gaps between all these fib levels, so just anticipate a lot of volatility. Secondly, Alibaba is actually getting a lot of volume, so that is up 2.73% because of, like I mentioned, that whole Quinn kind of thing, if I'm saying that right again. Yeah, Quinn AI model launched earlier this week, so again, it's just a tech race at this stage. Alibaba 203 for the free float being shorted, so definitely again not a squeeze stock. It was definitely getting heavily shorted recently, so 3.52%, but or I guess heavily for a large cap stock, if that makes sense. But shorts have actually been returning quite a lot, meaning that they are anticipating more upside with Alibaba, because honestly, for it to be valued where it was a crazy deal. So lucky individuals that did buy in around that $80 range. Yeah, you definitely made some pretty good money, and most likely it's going to continue this good momentum over the next little bit as well. But right now, with it at $99, it is trading between this R3 and this R2. So 94.55 is going to be the strong support, 99.29, and then basically 111 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. So yeah, I think that you might be seeing a retest of that 111, and that's what it kind of flirted with last time around and really struggled with. So just watch for that. Tesla has their earnings, even though not much activity, like as far as it's only down 0.51, so piggybacking off the broader market, it's getting a lot of volume. So people are starting to place their bets for Tesla, and as far as their earnings, their implied move is 7.91%. So a very volatile earnings. Historically speaking, looking over here over the last roughly 8-9 earnings, there's been about 4 interpreted as positive, the rest have been negative. So historically speaking, it is fair to assume that Tesla might go down, but when Tesla hits, as you can kind of see, they don't go up like 1-2%. They go up like 24 to 39%. And then flip side, if it's negative, they don't play around. It's either -3% or -15%, or 18. So yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Not heavily shorted. If anything, shorts have been returning, meaning that they might be kind of cautious about their earnings. So 2.25% of the free floats being shorted. Right now, with that 396, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 359 will be a strong support, and then 413 is going to be the next strong target / resistance as well. Just take a mental note of a lot of these as well for their earnings if you are playing that. And then last but not least, ticker PACK, it is up 18% because of this. So they did enter into an agreement with Amazon. Essentially, it's a little bit of dilution through warrants, but still, anyone dealing with a lot of the big names, you're going to go up. Not heavily shorted, so 2.31% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 1.06 million shares. So none of the stocks I kind of talked on are squeeze stocks today, so just kind of be aware of that. With that 677 though, it is trading right between these 2 points, so the pivot in this S1. 668 will be a strong support, which could be touched if it kind of pulled back slightly. What could happen, in my opinion. And then flip side, 734 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So yeah, this one will be a very volatile one, and given the obviously conjunction, like partnership with Amazon, you could get a lot of volume with this. So trade accordingly. So let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.